holy crap. They weren't lying when they said we're in the age of Yuri. On March 2nd, 2025, the Yuri community got their shit rocked. Because come on, Yuri. Action Yuri. Not Yuri that could be interpreted as subtext because of a lack of a kiss or whatever BS that Yuri deniers say. Not Yuri that was just soft slice of life Yuri. Explicit action Yuri. Getting mainstream shonen levels of animation quality? Unheard of. Never before seen. Not only does it look good, the choice of which Yuri manga to adapt was also widely celebrated because of how genuinely good the story is. Underneath all the flashy action scenes and the quality production value that the trailer offered, it also foreshadowed the devastating story hiding underneath all that. In action anime, people mainly focus on the fights, but rarely do they truly focus on the victims of said fights. So what exactly is this promising action Yuri that I'm raving about? Well, it's Kimi ga shinu made koi wa shitai, also known as I Want to Love You Till Your Dying Day. I'm just going to refer it as Kimishinu to keep it short, and I know, that's a title that totally doesn't scream doomed. Doom, gloom, death, disaster, and I'll say it, it's not exactly the happiest Yuri out there. The story is set in a fantasy world where there's an ongoing war of magic that has been going on for centuries. Why? It's never explained, and it's not really relevant to the story since it focuses less on politics and more on the terrible tragedies that come from war, specifically in an orphanage that raises and teaches child soldiers, 10 to 17 years old, to kill and eventually be killed in this war. The main character is a timid girl named Shina Totsuki, who opposes the war and desires peace, despite being raised in a place where death is so normalized. In the very first chapter, in the middle of class, she's casually informed that her roommate had recently passed away while deployed, since each child routinely goes into combat on a regular basis. So that night, Shina goes out for a bit to snack on an onigiri while processing her roommate's death and how everyone is so desensitized by the loss of their classmates. That's when she meets the other girl, Mimi Kagari, the secret weapon in this orphanage, who can heal her bodily injuries in a very short time. And no matter how battered or maimed her body is, she will still live, essentially immortal. And despite her deadly use in battle, she is very energetic and cheerful, which unnerves the peace-loving Shina initially. But as the story progresses, the two warm up with each other, with Shina sympathizing for Mimi more, and Mimi better understanding the devastating consequences of the death and destruction around her from the war that she has so long been so integrated into. There's also other memorable characters aside from Shina and Mimi that also play crucial roles in the story. There's the strong-willed Seiran Lizzie, who feels like it's her duty to serve as a soldier because of the orphanage rescuing her, and Alimad, who quietly dedicates herself to Seiran. They are both good friends to Shina and Mimi, but their relationship also acts in, let's just say, a jarring juxtaposition to them. Aside from the doomed Yuri appeal of this show, it's also held in high acclaim for other parts of it. It's consistently ranked one of the highest among all Yuri manga, and was also nominated for the 2019 Next Manga Award in the print manga category. It was also featured in My Anime List 2024 You Should Read This Manga list within the Unique Art Story category. The editor of Bloom Into You, Tatsuya Kusunoki, also praised the series for its setting and narrative intensity in a magazine interview in 2018. I personally really like how it mixes slice of life with the mental and emotional screwed up costs of war. That's a weird sentence to say out loud, but I really mean it. The slice of life scenes where the girls are just chilling, doing laundry together, making sweets together, it just makes you feel good. And it lures you into a false sense of security and gets you attached to the characters because they act like kids despite their unfortunate circumstances before everything goes terribly south for everyone. I love it. I love how the series intentionally humanizes children who are dehumanized by deeply rooted systematic oppression through their relationships with each other and their grief. I also like how it's not just a Yuri story, but also a riveting, plot-heavy story that poses morally dubious questions like whether or not repeatedly forcing one child to fight all your battles is ethical, since it prevents other children from dying. I feel like Mimi symbolizes the prototypical mold of a child soldier. She is deadly. She doesn't give much regard to the human life she takes away, because she was never taught to do that. She's a victim of systematic exploitation, but she doesn't quite understand that yet, because she's just a kid. She is naive, like a child. She doesn't like doing chores, like a child. She wants to play with her friends, like a child. And more importantly, she is viewed as a good replacement for other people who don't want to fight due to her naivete, vulnerability, and how expendable, quote-unquote expendable, she is. Like child soldiers. Like millions of children across the globe in real life. When conflict happens, children are often taken advantage of and used as human shields to benefit warring nations. To quote UNICEF, warring parties use children not only as fighters, but as scouts, cooks, porters, guards, messengers, and more. Others are driven by poverty, like Seiran, compelled to generate income for their families. Still others associate themselves for survival or to protect their communities. No matter their involvement, the recruitment and use of children by armed forces is a grave violation of child rights and international humanitarian law. I personally will add that a lot of children in war tend to be groomed into roles such as suicide bombers, human shields, and minefield clearers because of how easily they can be manipulated into these roles. Pretty relevant to today, since violent conflicts have been surging in the past few years, and there have been reports of child recruitments in said recent conflicts, such as the reports of Russians abducting and recruiting Ukrainian children, and Iran lowering the age to serve in the military to 12 years old. Also, can't forget ongoing conflicts that use children extensively to this day, such as the political instability in Congo, South Sudan, Myanmar, and many, many more. And these many conflicts show no signs of stopping anytime soon, just like in the setting of Kimishinu. A setting where death is constant, where extreme violence is routine, where there is no grand solution to miraculously fix everything, or anything, but people just keep living, and they can choose to either become desensitized by this broken world and let themselves become detached from their humanity, or fight that hopelessness and let themselves grieve, feel, and even love each other until their dying day, even if that day could be tomorrow. Watch the show. Stay aware, stay safe.